Hi friends, David here from Above AVL and Learn Stage Lighting. And in this video, we want to talk about basic to intermediate level lighting consoles in software. Like, this is one of the big things we talk about here. It's something that's always kind of set us apart on Learn Stage Lighting is how do you choose when you're getting started with lighting? If you're new with lighting, if you're lighting for a band, a church, a DJ, like, how do you choose the right lighting console or software? How do you know what's right for you? Should it be hardware? Should it be software? Well, let's dive in. There's no easy answer when it comes to choosing a lighting console and finding the one that's right, that's really perfect for your needs, that's going to do the kind of things you need it to do and be able to trigger the way you want to be triggered. So let's zoom out a little. Okay, if we're zooming out a little, when it comes to choosing a lighting console, there's kind of two functions to it and two things you want to look at when you're choosing a console. The first is, can it program everything you want to program? Meaning, can it control the lights you're trying to control? From a technical basis, like, are all the pieces there that you're going to be able to have meaningful control over all of your lights, whether that's static lights, LED, moving heads, any combination, right? The second then is playback. Okay, how do you intend to play back your events? And this is going to vary depending on what you're doing, what type of event, and who's running it. Okay, it could be triggered from stage from a backing track. It could be triggered from stage from a foot pedal. It could be run by a lighting operator. It could be triggered from a technical area, from a sound booth, like in church setting, from maybe a mix of a slides volunteer and somebody who is also pressing buttons. All of these things are really key when you're choosing a console, okay, or something to get started with. But I would argue that those are the two top things that you really want to focus on, really want to be paying attention to, okay? So what do we recommend for people when it comes to basic or intermediate level lighting consoles? Well, to kind of set the stage, what we consider a basic / intermediate level console, and we've smooshed them together in recent years because honestly, the lines between them have gotten really blurred. Just like there used to be ones that were really basic, and then it was a good step up to intermediate, and it was a good step up to professional. Now it's more like, what? Most of the basic level consoles can do intermediate stuff really well, but the intermediate level consoles and the pro grade stuff, there's definitely a big difference too. So how do you choose? When it comes down to it, those little consoles, and I should have grabbed one because I always have one on the shelf, that have a bunch of faders on them, that don't have a computer, that don't have a screen really or anything like that, are really not helpful in a lot of situations. Because pushing a bunch of sliders up and down doesn't work well when your lights have different colors, and it doesn't work well if you have moving lights, okay? And today, moving lights and LED fixtures are what everybody has. So these little basic scene setter, stage setter, Obey series consoles from all the different brands, they're typically not a really good choice, even though they're the cheapest. You want something that's going to be able to control all of the different parameters or attributes of the lights that you have. So then we're looking at, okay, there's some options that are PC based, there are some that are not. Let's start on the PC. So at a really basic level, we recommend Entec EMU from time to time. Okay, Entec EMU is kind of a different, kind of an interesting program because it's a software, PC or Mac. You can buy the box, and when you buy the box, you get, I believe, a year free and then 30% off for life. Or you can just pay for the software and bring your own box to output the DMX. And if you need help choosing one, we can help you with that. EMU is a very simple program where you just have faders for all your different attributes, and you also have selectors for things like color. You can choose it on the color picker. For things like pan and tilt, you can move it on an XY grid. And you can select individual or multiple lights and save them into what are called programs and put those programs into what are called banks. Okay, so EMU is really meant for the band, and this could be in context some churches as well, who has somebody who wants to run it from stage, and they want to either run it from a DAW through MIDI notes or a VST plugin, or they want to run it through a sustain pedal, like a foot pedal with a 1/4-inch plug. Okay, that is the one thing that the EMU box, having the 1/4-inch input, and the EMU software does that really no other software does. Okay, however, if you start to kind of get past some more simple programming and you really aren't locked in to running it from a foot pedal from stage, usually there are other better options out there. I would say if you've tried EMU in the past, and we have, it was really pretty buggy. This year they fixed it. It's much more reliable. So it is one that we recommend. Okay. Moving up from there, we usually take people one of two places that are about the same cost software. Interestingly enough, they're actually made by the same programming, the same development team. Okay, so what's going to be the difference? Well, the WMX1 Controller is completely standalone. So you don't ever have to hook this up to a computer, except maybe to go get some fixture profiles and bring in specific fixtures that you have into the console. Other than that, especially with this being the Mark II version, which has been out for about a year now, you can do all of the programming inside of the box, all the playback inside of the box. Now, the WMX is a little different if you've worked with lighting control before. Essentially, you have up to 8 groups of lights, and you put every light that you patch into one of those groups, okay? Then you give them effects and individual colors, positions, gobos, and then other attributes. You save everything that's happening in these attributes to what are called presets, okay? And then when you switch between different presets, they can fade between each other. It's actually calling back all of those settings that you were working with. So you can take a setting take a preset, fire it, okay? Then go back to something like the effects, and you can turn it on and off for different groups. You can change the colors, and you can do it all live and on the fly. So it's a really capable, really cool little board for people doing live events. It can also work for some churches and uses like that. And it can be triggered by MIDI if you do a USB to MIDI input on the USB port on the back. Pretty cool. So it's a little bit different approach because everything is group-based, but the benefit is that you don't have a PC, it's completely standalone, so there's never like software updates or anything like that that are messing with it. I mean, they do software updates. It can do a lot, specifically for like DJ or band lighting or, like I said, some church use, but there are some limitations. You can only run so many effects at a time. Fixtures are all placed into groups, which means that if you bring in a new light, you can stick it in an existing group and you don't have to program anything. Just update some positions and you're good to go. So that's really cool. But the downside is if you want to work with individual fixtures and have individual lights doing very individual things, then it's not a good pick for you. Okay. So next up on the intermediate level, we'll look at software. We have liked for years Lightkey as well as now my DMX5 from ADJ. We can get you either of them. We can help you get either box, so we're not biased because we can sell one and not the other. And there's plenty of other pieces of software that we can sell that we honestly choose not to. So my DMX5 either comes in this version, this is the most popular, or there is an express version with 256, I believe, DMX channels unlocked. This box, the my DMX5 box, has 2 universes of DMX output, and it is a PC or Mac software. Here's what we like about my DMX5. Unlike previous versions, it's very stable, okay? We've had no real issues. Anytime we've had things that we thought were issues, most of the time it was an issue either on our end or the customer end. But in the issue that we did find bugs, the team was very responsive to fix them. They've been great to work with over the past year or two. It's really easy for people to learn my DMX if they haven't done lighting control before. So the way that it works is a little bit different than a standard lighting console, but it's not crazy, okay? It's more like you open up cues or scenes that you're playing, you edit them, and then you close the editor. So it's different than a professional grade console that uses what we call like a programmer approach, but it's still very, very good, and we've done some pretty complex shows with it, and been really happy with the results. Okay, it's not a subscription, just like the WMX, which is great. So you buy it once, you've got it, you're good to go. Lightkey, on the other hand, is a Mac-only software. And again, with all of these, we'll put lots of screen images up of us using the software. Lightkey is really user-friendly, and people that the best way to say this is people that really like Macs tend to really like Lightkey. We like it too. It's a great piece of software. It can do a lot of good things. Forgot to mention this, but for MIDI controllers, for getting extra controls for programming or playback, Lightkey, MyDMX5, as well as the WMX1, all three of those options have the ability to bring in MIDI controllers to them and be able to use that to make it easier to press buttons to play things back, make it easier on your recording side to have knobs, to have faders that control different attributes of your lights. On the software side, they'll help you with programming. On the WMX side, they'll help you with playback, just to clarify there. Okay, great options. Okay, Lightkey and MyDMX, both great options. Both work really well. Really, all of these softwares do best when you're using up to maybe a few universes of lights. Okay, if you get above that, then you're definitely pushing Lightkey, MyDMX, the WMX, or Entec EMU a little bit too far. And that's when it's time to head up to a pro-grade console. So hopefully this video has helped you find a really good lighting console for your needs and given you a general idea of what might make sense. The good news is the PC or Mac softwares, you can download a demo version. The WMX, you can watch our videos on it, and we can link to some below that go into some of the programming, the functionalities, so you can be more familiar with that. If you're ready to look for a new lighting controller for your setup and you don't know what to get, then head over to our lighting console chooser. It'll ask you a few basic questions and then shoot over a recommendation so that you can have our top recommendation for the amount of lights you have and the type of lighting you do for your programming. If you need some more advice and you're looking to purchase, then just shoot us an email at gear@aboveavl.com. We love to help. We'll see you guys in the next video where we're going to talk all about professional grade lighting consoles, how you choose one, and really what the best choice is for your needs. It's not going to be the same for everybody, but we'll dive into how to figure that out. We'll see you guys there. Thanks.